I am not Villanova.
I am
not
Villanova.
I am not
I am
Villanova.
not Villanova. And that's when I realized I'm not Villanova.
A lot of people just fall into being who others expect them to be and not being who they expect themselves to be. And I found that I have a lot of friends who do that and who are actually just these really weird, kind of messed up people that don't show that and try and hide that part of themselves.
Because at first, like, I did assimilate, and I think everyone goes through that where you try to fit in. And then I kind of like found my own niche. Now I feel like I know who I am, and I think that would be really important for someone who feels like they may not fit in.
So I think when I got here, I just kind of was like, you know, it is what it is. This is like how the world thinks, and we're in this like bubble that like is just this microcosm of like society, and it seems so much worse just because this is what you're surrounded by and what is thrown in your face every day. But I think when I got here, I was like, it is what it is. Like I'm like, what you said, like I'm gonna do me, and like if y'all don't like it, like I'm not about to like bleach my skin or like perm my hair to like what bag a boy in BTD. Like it's not that serious.
I think that being at Villanova, you know, and being a minority at Villanova, being part of this 4% of African American, you know, here, has made me proud to be Black African American. Because, you know, if I'm not proud to be Black, you know, who else is gonna, you know, basically who else is gonna lift Black up? Who else is gonna say that, you know, it's okay to, you know, to be who, you know, to be who and what you are. I think a lot of people here, they don't promote, not that they don't promote their race, but they don't promote, like, I'm gonna say independence, and that's the problem. Like, I feel like, you know, being Black is being independent here.
People make you feel like you stand out and that you're different. So I just believe that I am.
I like always felt like the minority in that situation because I grew up around so many white people that I always felt like a little bit different from them. And I think Villanova, just being at Villanova, it's just kind of continued that streak of feeling like I was always a little bit different from everyone else. And so it kind of felt comfortable for me to kind of ease into that like more Asian side, being around a little bit more Asians at Villanova. I felt like I could identify more with them and kind of just step back from like the white population of the school.
There are like small gems at Villanova, and they're great people if you look for it, but I think overall the way Villanova wants to be perceived and the way that I've experienced Villanova is that the majority of the campus and the majority of the staff really want Villanova to maintain this one perception, and anything that's kind of different than that gets squashed down and gets like oppressed in a lot of ways.
I don't feel very relevant sometimes. Like, I feel like the more you stand out, the more you're kind of left out.
And if you're not, then even if you look good, and if you're not what everyone expects you to be, I think that beauty is gone for a lot of people.
I think you don't come wanting to change, but you kind of see, and you're like, oh, this is how it works. Definitely, I guess, from a freshman perspective, like you were like, oh yeah, so this is what works, this is what people do. You look at the upperclassmen, and you know how people modelize, like you see them as role models, so you're like, oh, maybe I should do what they did because they look like they're, you know, having a good college experience. So I think like some people follow after that.
I think it was just pressure of wanting to be liked. I think regardless of what anyone says, they want to be liked.
So I think I tried to get away from that whole like Latina stereotype, which kind of took me away from my culture. And I felt like I was an outsider to Latina sometimes because like I wouldn't know some of the music, or like I maybe didn't speak Spanish as well and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of pressure. Like sometimes you're not like Latina enough, and then sometimes you're not like enough for everybody else.
I started noticing like just how much everyone at Villanova, and that's generalizing, but is so similar. And I just wanted more. I wanted to like challenge myself in college, and I feel like Villanova hasn't presented me with that kind of challenge, not necessarily academically, but more on an interpersonal level. I really wanted to like meet new people and discover new things and challenge myself to like break out of that barrier.
Just like in life, I feel like Villanova is like so extreme almost because it's so whitewashed that I'm prepared now to feel or not to feel a certain type of way by what people may think.
Inside, I'm a beautiful person. I could say that. I would never even say that until now. So it's the first time I'm saying I'm a beautiful person inside. So, but I've heard that I was beautiful, and when I heard that, like I remember like the first time somebody put on like a Facebook picture, beautiful. I was like, why that?
Different groups are kind of segregated amongst themselves for whatever reason, and I think you have to find your own balance between like holding strong to what you believe in and how you are, and like fitting into the culture of campus.
The difference between your parents telling you you're beautiful and people at school making fun of you because your hair is a certain way. I know I've been getting perms since I was 12, probably 12, 13. And I knew that when I first started getting perms, that was the reason why, because I got made fun of because my hair was a certain way and it wasn't straight. But now I think you can either let it change who you are to constantly fit into a box, or just learn that you're still beautiful no matter what.
I think women of color are stronger because of all of these things that are constantly going on in our heads. Like we constantly have to get past society's barriers and our own barriers.
See, that's the thing. White people, I don't know how to say it. White people don't look up to us. You know, they don't. We look up to them.
I could be the stereotype and embody the stereotype, and sometimes I do without really noticing that I do. But it definitely, at the beginning, it changed me. I was like, oh, do I have to buy boat shoes now and Uggs, and you know, do I have to dress a certain way and put makeup on every day and do my hair? And I was used to just wearing jeans and a sweatshirt every day, and that's kind of who I am and what I like. And when I got here, I changed what I dressed like and how I was for a little bit until I realized that I just couldn't do it. And then I think Villanova had the opposite effect. It had the effect of making me want to be the individual and the unique person that I could be.
Because I don't think I totally fit into the Villanova image completely, but I'm not going to say that it hasn't changed a little bit of how I dress.
I have assimilated to some degree to what people do here. Like, I never owned a pair of Uggs or Sperry's until I got here. I had like a mental breakdown in the mall, like when I bought my Uggs. Like, I can't believe I'm buying Uggs. Who am I? Like, oh my God. But like, there's just certain things, like, I don't know. Like if I like it, I'm not gonna not indulge in it because I don't want to be perceived as like assimilating to this. Like, I'm aware of my Sperry's, how I wear them. Like, I've been wearing pashmina scarves since I was like a freshman in high school. I'm not gonna not wear them anymore because that's what people at Villanova do.
In a way, I do really feel really offended, and I feel like very defensive too, and I'm half white, so it's kind of like an identity struggle because I do feel like a pull towards the Asian side because I'm half Asian, but at the same time I feel like kind of ashamed that like such ignorance could come from the white side, which I also identify with.
I try to keep myself up and maintain myself a lot more every morning. It takes me way longer to get ready now than it did a few years ago.
But a lot of those friends, like, I did meet not being fully who I am. And I don't want that who I was and who I was trying to act like to affect who I'm friends with. Because I want the people I'm friends with to be people who just accept actually who I am and the truth behind who I am. And I think I regret a little bit not being that from the start.
No, I don't think the typical Villanova person would think I was beautiful. Especially if I don't feel I'm beautiful myself, so.
And you don't think you're beautiful because of how other people see you? Is that correct? And if that, can you repeat that? Or you don't think you're beautiful based on other people's standards of beauty?
Wow. I don't know. I don't think I'm beautiful because maybe it's because of other people's standard of beauty. Yeah. But maybe I have to reevaluate myself and understand why I don't think I'm beautiful. Thanks.
So when we're saying beautiful, we're meaning like the outward appearance.
The outward appearance. Okay, so
So do you think your outward appearance is beautiful? Or is it in between, or is it like...
yeah, I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to start. Just because I don't know if I'm worried about, if I'm considering other people's, standard of beauty or like opinion of my face or my own, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you find yourself attractive?